Welcome to the Reader. We will be bringing you the best stories from Reddit daily. Please like and subscribe. Help us grow. Now onto the story. Tifu by smelling my feet and ending up in the ER. This Tifu actually happened today. Or at least in the last 24 hours, either way I'm counting it. I'll be the first to admit that my feet are sometimes a little bit smelly. Some of my friends and family have laughingly said they are odorly challenged. I wash them in the shower every day. I've tried the fancy creams, but none of it seems to really help, and I've at this point accepted that I'm just naturally a stinkfoot and will live my life with a constant faint corn chip aroma wafting from my toes. I live alone, and when in my apartment I prefer not to wear socks or shoes. This is occasionally a point of contention with my girlfriend, who visits often and insists I at least wear socks when she comes over. It's mostly fun banter where she teases me for my feet smelling and I tease her for a loud burp or something like that, but sometimes after a particularly long day the foot factory releases emissions that would surely get me fined by EPA, which she rightfully hates. Yesterday she came over for dinner. It was a nice day, so we decided to get delivery from one of our favorite restaurants and eat on the balcony. Well, I'm at home and I've already liberated my tootsies from their foot prisons, and I figured it'd be nice to set the table with some flowers for my lady. I was outside setting up when she arrived, and she came outside to greet me. Immediately she smelled my feet and recoiled in disgust. The most dramatic reaction ever. Fake vomiting, fake crying. She was hamming it up as part of our banter. I have gone a bit nose blind to them over the years, so I lean against the railing to balance and go to smell them myself to see how bad they were. This was my mistake. I'm a burly guy, and this poor railing could not handle my equally overdramatic reaction of throwing my head back and screaming. It gave way. Luckily I'm only on the second floor, so I only fell maybe 25 feet. But it felt like it lasted a solid minute. It was at least long enough of a fall for me to reflect on the situation and feel like an idiot for dying from smelling my own feet. The aftermath is a fractured rib and dislocated shoulder, and my girlfriend never letting me live this down. TLDR, smelled my feet, railing went yeet, almost died and I feel like shit. Edit. Okay guys, I appreciate the foot health advice, but please stop ming me with weird remedies. I'm not going to pee on them or soak them in a tomato bleach medley. I will go back to the doctor though once I'm all healed up. Did you manage to put your socks and shoes back on after your fall, or should we feel bad for the ER folks who had to smell your feet? I guess I should send them an apology fruit basket, huh? Make sure the fruit basket has some durian so they know it's from you. You leave the king of fruit out of this. The king smells bad and was the cause for a gas leak scare in Australia the other day. Tifu because I convinced my dad, adopted, to let me help him research his family and broke his heart, again. My dad is 62 and was adopted. He has been watching a lot of long lost family recently and I encouraged him quite persistently to start some investigations into his own family. I did most of the research and managed to obtain his adoption paperwork and also found a last known address for his birth mother. So we wrote to the address, stating that we were working on a family tree, and does this person still live here, and we got a reply that said, please do not contact me again, I'm 82 and just want a quiet life. I wish you all the best in life. Signed from his birth mother. Now he is dealing with the rejection again and is really upset, and I wish I never pushed the issue. He seems so lost and deflated. He almost certainly would not have been able to carry out the research without my help. I'm sorry Dad, broken heart. TLDR convinced my dad to locate his birth mum, she is not interested and now he is miserable. Tifu by having sex with my wife. So my wife is pregnant with our first child and we are about 3 weeks away from the due date. Been a while since we've gotten tangled up in the sheets, so we decided to give it a go. Things go great, but 30 minutes later my wife thinks she peed herself, so she gets up, goes over to the toilet, and proceeds to leak clear fluid from her vagina. She calls me over to check where the fluid is coming from as she thinks she broke her water. Same thing happened about 2 weeks ago, but just a small amount of fluid compared to this. We shrug it off, lay back in bed, and then it happens again. We think to ourselves, oh shit, this may be real. Then she starts getting a contraction, not one she normally gets. No, this one is stronger and lasts a lot longer than usual. 4 hours later I sit here in the hospital next to her bed. She's 8 centimeters dilated, epidural given, and now we're waiting for our first child to arrive. TLDR ducked my wife into labor 3 weeks early. Edit, here we go, 10 centimeters, nurse said they're rounding up the troops and will begin pushing soon. Edit 2, Jason is a 6 pounds, 2 ounces beautiful baby boy, welcome to us at 3 a.m. Thank you all for the wonderful wishes. Tifu, by showing my girlfriend my actual strength M standard. This did not happen today. Actually a few years back. So, when my then GF and I started dating, I discovered early on that she can be quite physical. In the sense that she likes to push, hold, punch even. Bear in mind she is not actually trying to hurt me, she is just playful like that. I found this both adorable and fun, so I played along. And here is the duck up. If she pushed me, I would act like I had to balance myself, or if the bed/sofa was nearby I would fall onto it. If she held me, I would pretend that it was difficult for me to get out of her grip. If I pushed her and she resisted, I would pretend it was hard work, same with me holding her arms etc. You get the idea. I always assumed she knew I was playing along and not actually physically straining myself to compete with her strength. This went on for months. One day, we were chilling on the sofa, watching a show when I realized I was running late to meet some friends. I told her I need to shower and make a move. She decided this was a good time for a play fight. She sat on top of me to pin my arms under her knees. I played along and struggled to move her off me. A little more wrestling took place, with me playing along like I do. Then I told her I really need to make a move. She was not done and continued to hold/push me back onto the sofa. Eventually I decided I need to win this little fight and get going. So, I got her onto her back, held her hands near her head and leant down to kiss her on the cheeks a few times and let her know again that I am running late. She tried to move her arms and could not. Whilst struggling she grunted out, "Why are you so strong today?" I laughed, duck up number 2, and looked at her like she was joking. Her eyes went wide with comprehension and she stopped struggling. "You are always this strong?" she asked, almost to herself. "Come on babe, you did not really think we are of equal strength, did you?" I replied. I then went to take a shower, got ready, and as I was heading out the door, I noticed that she might have been a little glum. Me, being fully aware that I do not fully comprehend the mystery of female emotions, had no clue why she was upset. I did what all men do, I guessed. I gave her a kiss and said I won't be gone for long and that I can pick up her favorite Chinese on the way back. I assumed she was upset about me not spending the afternoon with her. No reply. Duck up number 3, I should have spent some time talking it through. I instead went on my merry way and had a great ducking time with my friends. She spent the next few hours brewing, simmering, seething, and of course overthinking. I came home with the Chinese and as soon as I put it down on the dining table, she sprung out of the corner and attacked me. It genuinely surprised me and I reacted by bear hugging her to my chest. She struggled with more force than she normally would and I just held her. I kept asking what was wrong. She gritted her teeth and said, "You lied to me." Eventually she stopped trying to fight me and I let her go. She then told me how she feels like I lied to her about our fights and that really all the time I was laughing at her in my head as I pretended that she was actually winning. I tried to take the conversation seriously, but come on, how the duck am I supposed to take this seriously? So I may have been somewhat mocking, flirting, and generally being an ass about the whole thing. A week later she broke up with me. FML. TLDR, I pretended my girlfriend and we were of equal strength. Edit 1. Haha, this got a lot more attention than I was expecting. Firstly, there's a lot of she's so stupid, crazy, insane, etc. It's a bit mean. Yeah, she reacted drastically, but overall she is a good person. Secondly, it's shocking how polarizing the comments are. There's a lot of comments along the lines of how the duck did she not know, and honestly loads of comments from both guys and girls about how girls can be surprised when they first realize the difference in raw strength. Big shout out to you /Starbrightstar for her comment. It's one of the top comments, and rightly so. Tifu by kissing my deaf friend S. Hi there. 22M. I'll try to keep it short. I met a girl through a mutual friend. We've known each other for roughly a year, but haven't spent time alone yet, always in a group. She's very sweet and pretty. She's not completely deaf, she can still hear a bit, with the help of hearing aids. I guess mild deafness, not short ho? Yesterday we met up with our mutual friends, we were having a barbecue. Later on, we ran out of snacks, so the other two went to the grocery store. We were alone in the yard, chatting etc. Now I noticed that she kept staring at my lips, so I thought to myself, does she want to kiss me? Since she didn't stop staring, I thought that it's obvious. This time I'm not going to miss a hint. I leaned in to give her a kiss, I mean she did kinda kiss me back, but afterwards it was like dead silence. Thank God the other two arrived a few minutes later. The rest of the evening was super awkward between us. Later as she left, I told the other two friends that I had kissed her because she kept staring at my lips. They started laughing, saying of course she's staring at your lips, she's lip reading. Man, I totally forgot that deaf people also use lip reading to communicate, and since she's never actually done that before, I didn't take that into consideration. This will definitely be one of the moments that'll make me stay up at night and cringe, plus I probably ruined the friendship. TLDR, by thinking my friend wanted to kiss me, she probably didn't. Update, okay, guys, I sent her a message, asking if she wants to come over. She said she'll be here in an hour. I'm nervous lol, I'm trying to convince my roommate to go on a long walk. Update 2. Sorry that you guys had to wait that long. She just left 5 minutes ago. I didn't tell her beforehand that I wanted to talk to her about the kiss, so it was a bit awkward approaching the topic. I can't go into full detail now, but I told her that I didn't mean to make her feel uncomfortable and that I had misread the signs. We had a good laugh. Afterwards I asked her if she'd be down to maybe try things out if she's interested. The thing is, she's going to move to Munich, Germany in a few months, end of March. I live in France, and she told me that, while she does like me, she didn't plan on making any romantic interest, because she doesn't want to get too attached, due to her moving away anyways. She admitted to liking me a lot and would like to give it a shot despite the circumstances, but only under the condition that I am being serious about it, since she doesn't want something that's only casual. We're going on a date on Tuesday, and we'll just see if it works out between us. Tifu till Netflix and chill has a sexual meaning as per not so usual. This actually happened a few moments ago. I, 20M, was browsing Reddit, killing some spare time. I stumbled upon a post where someone clearly stated the term Netflix and chill implies pretending to watch a movie while actually having some sexy time. I was like, nah, there's no chance that's true, they're probably messing around. Netflix and chill obviously is what is stated. Watching a movie casually with some friends. I decided to do some research. Turns out I couldn't be more wrong. The first thing that came to my mind were the numerous times I was talking with friends, and especially lady friends, suggesting we should Netflix and chill sometime, meaning actually catching a movie or some shit. At the time, it seemed kind of odd how I got turned down most of the times, but I usually shrugged it off as they didn't actually wanted to watch a movie. On second thought, it might have been awkward. I guess better late than never. TLDR suggested we should Netflix and chill to many friends missing the actual meaning of the phrase. Tifu by having a horny Reddit hookup. Okay, so this happened several days ago. I got out of a relationship about a year ago and impulsively went searching on Reddit in the r/r4r. I live in a small town in the US and it hasn't been easy for me to meet anyone because of restrictions and my own fear of getting COVID. I end up finding this girl that seems kind of intriguing. We come from similar cultural backgrounds and seemed to have similar interests and everything, and our conversations were going well over text. Plus, she was located 15 minutes away from my house. We ended up meeting in person and things started out normal. We chilled, had dinner, and watched Netflix. All of a sudden she starts touching me intently. Given that it's been some time since anyone has shown me any affection, I'm all for it. Things escalate. She starts grabbing me, squeezing me, holding me close. Not terrible, this is where things take a turn. Then she started talking about how she was raped on the first date. I'm like, okay, let's try to not talk about that. It's a downer and not something I'm comfortable talking about, at least not now. So then the conversation turns to how she used to self-harm. Okay, I repeat the same thing because I want to try and keep it positive. Next she starts talking about her long history of mental illness. I feel terrible at this point, but that shitty feeling doesn't negate my horniness. Next thing I know, I've finished my cocktail and we've started making out. I end up having sex with her and giving her a ride home. Throughout the whole car ride she was making detailed plans for me to spend Christmas with her and her extended family. Okay. When she got home, she told me how much she loved me and that she wants to move in and change her job so that she can be with me. I have met this person once. Now I don't know how to tell her that I'm a bit uncomfortable seeing her anymore. She seemed nice enough, but she came on super strong. I'm too kind to ghost completely and have absolutely no idea how the hell to deal with this. TLDR, got horny, met a Redditor, had sex, she declared her love for me on the first date and now seems to be obsessed with me. Told me she is mentally unstable and that she wants to be with me forever. Apparently plans have been made for me to meet her family and spend Christmas with them. FML. Edit, holy shit, this blew up. When I finish my workday I'll write an update and do my best to respond to the comments. PS, I'm afraid of being murdered. Edit number 2, okay, let me start by saying that 1, she was pushing me for sex. Not the other way around. She was the one that initiated physical contact and pushed from there. 2, she wasn't telling me these things in a way that would have given me a reason to think she wasn't of sound mind. She was saying these things too casually. It seemed like she was telling me these things because she wanted to test my tolerance. Also, please note that she didn't only talk about when she was raped, self-harm and her ongoing struggles with mental illness. She spent the whole time talking about all kinds of innocuous stuff that I haven't mentioned in my post, while only casually segueing into the subjects I described above. If I hadn't been drinking, I probably would have been like a deer in the headlights and noped the duck out, but of course, that wasn't how it went down. Instead, I let her continue pushing me and trying to get me in the mood, and she ultimately succeeded. What she had said didn't really sink in right away. It was only during the act that I started to realize how big a mistake this truly was. Not long after we started, my schlong went soft as I thought more about it. I was unable to perform. Don't get me wrong. I know this was a monumental duck up, which is precisely why I posted it in r/Tifu in the first place. Edit number 3, please stop saying don't stick your dick in crazy, it's been said 1,000 times already. Edit number 4, please stop asking me is her name _. I'm not going to share her name. Duck off. Edit number 5. Okay guys and gals, the night is winding down and it's getting dark. I've gotten about a dozen messages from her asking if she can come over. I have not responded because I don't know what to do or say. If I don't provide an update, then shit got real. Edit number 6. I decided to stay at a hotel for the night just to play it safe. Neighbor just texted me telling me that there is someone that has gone to my door and knocked on it a few times. Apparently a letter was left taped to my door. I'm not home and my neighbor is afraid to touch it. Tifu by accidentally dosing my entire adult family with LSD. This happened a couple of weeks ago at Thanksgiving. My boyfriend and I recently moved into a bigger place together with a few spare bedrooms and a large kitchen, and to celebrate we decided to host Thanksgiving at our house this year. Usually all family meals are held at my aunt's house, but she recently got divorced and unfortunately had to sell the house. This year we wanted to invite everyone we could since 2020 was limited to just my parents and my boyfriend's mom. We invited my parents, BF's mom, 3 aunts of mine, 2 uncles, and 6 cousins, all between the ages of 10 to 19. We prepared for 2 days leading up to Thanksgiving. We made pretty much everything ourselves except for a few appetizers. I've recently been getting into baking, so as a treat for the adults I made some edible hard candies with a small, 10 mg, dose of THC in each candy. We had dinner early around 4 p.m. and all the kids were in the media room playing a racing game on the PlayStation. Once everyone finished their food, we asked the adults if they'd like to partake in my edible experiment, and being a California family fairly used to cannabis, everyone agreed. We had our candies and waited roughly 1 hour, and when nobody was feeling anything we decided to have another. I figured the amount of food we had just consumed plus my novice edible producing skills led to a dead batch, so I reached way back in the fridge to get the jar of store-bought gummies I had purchased months ago from a dispensary. I found the gummies, but they were in a plastic baggie instead of a jar. I assumed my boyfriend had repurposed the jar or transferred them to a bag when we moved. Every adult in the family had one gummy and we decided to take a little walk, but my boyfriend stayed behind to keep an eye on the kids. We left around 5:20 and started to feel our gummies around 15 minutes into the walk. The sky seemed to be a brighter shade of orange after the sunset and a few of us got the giggles. Around 30 minutes after we left the house, I got a call from my BF sounding very nervous as he asked, "Did you get these gummies from the jar or from the baggie?" I told him the baggie and received a large sigh in response. Then it hit me. We had eaten the gummies from the dispensary with friends on the night of our move. We had lots to drink that night and it totally slipped my mind. These gummies were 2 to 3 years old LSD gummies we had purchased for a music festival in 2018. My boyfriend didn't have to say anything for me to realize the enormity of the duck-up I had made. I told him to stay calm and not to let the kids leave the media room until we got home. He hid the remaining gummies in our room and I told my family we should probably head back. The next 20 to 30 minutes of our walk back were filled with laughter and lots of pit stops to examine Christmas lights, mailboxes and trees my family members were enormously impressed by. I, on the other hand, was trying my best to figure out how to tell my parents, aunts, uncles and soon-to-be mother-in-law that instead of a small dose of weed which they were all familiar with and used to, they were in for 8 to 10 hour experience with good old Lucy. I decided to wait until we were home in case any of them freaked out. We arrived home and all of the family members were in stitches laughing at each other's jokes and impersonations. I asked my boyfriend for advice, but he seemed overwhelmed and just wanted to go lie down for a bit. My 19 years/show cousin said he'd watch the kids, so I went back upstairs to join my family. I realized that as far as accidental druggings go, this was a pretty ideal situation except for the half-5 minors in the house. I took my now fully tripping family out onto the porch to sit around the fireplace and calmly informed them that they had each taken 125 micrograms of LSD instead of the 15 mg of THC I told them they had taken. My mom and one of my aunts started to hyperventilate a bit and my BFS mom went to find her son. I calmed my family down and they all quickly became enthralled with the fire pit and the stars, briefly interrupted by the occasional question about trip length and asking if the kids were being taken care of. They called me an idiot and I agreed with their judgment. I left them outside to enjoy the stars and went to check on the kids and my BF and his mom. The kids were all eating popcorn watching Star Wars and hardly noticed me coming in, but my oldest cousin could tell I was out of sorts and I had to clue him in. He laughed and once again asserted my idiocy and I once again conferred. He told me not to worry and that he'd put all the kids to bed and to just relax and have fun with the family. I checked in on my BF and his mom and they both started howling with laughter when they saw my defeated face enter the room. I finally started to join in the laughter, making fun of the ridiculous situation I had gotten us all into. They gave me a hug and we went out to join the rest of my family. They were all in different zones. The uncles were focused on collecting more firewood and trying my collection of whiskies. The aunts and my mom were intently listening to each other tell stories and staring at their wine glasses. One of them was playing Candy Crush and had a huge grin on her face. My BF sat down with me on the couch and his mom joined the aunts, and the next several hours were as wonderful a family gathering I had ever experienced. We all spent hours talking and laughing and drinking, sometimes getting lost in the bathroom or kitchen but mostly spending our time outside. Everyone handled themselves incredibly well, and I think it probably led to my BF's mom feeling much more included in my family than she had before. A few people had trouble sleeping but they just put on old I Love Lucy episodes until their trips ended and they passed out. Overall it could have gone so much worse, and I'm so grateful that nobody got hurt or was too overwhelmed. I think the acid had lost some of its potency, which certainly worked for our benefit this time. The next morning the kids made breakfast for everyone and absolutely trashed the kitchen, but I didn't mind. We had breakfast and I received a few more jeers from my family and they informed me that they wouldn't be imbibing in any gummies at Christmas, but it was all in good fun. TLDR, gave my family what I thought were weed gummies at Thanksgiving, turned out to be LSD. Edit, forgot to mention that after the kids were put to bed while we were still outside by the fire we got into impersonations, and somehow my Trump impersonation came through. Complete with hand gestures, the voice, mannerisms and the asshole-shaped lips, I stayed in character for 45+ minutes while my family laughed and kept up their own characters. A few times the one of the kids would come out asking for something and Trump would order them back to their room. This turned into a game with the kids where they would come out to get scolded by the loud orange man inside me. Eventually I had to break character, not as easy as one would think, so that they would finally leave us stripping adults alone. Tifu by losing my mind at all-you-can-eat sushi. So, to preface this, I am a small 100 pounds soaking wet female who just happens to love sushi. So as a payday treat, I go to my local sushi restaurant for their all-you-can-eat dinner for $25.99. I am stoked and immediately order 6 of all my favorites, about 36 pieces, and am over the moon as I dig in. Halfway through my lizard brain tells me, this is clearly not enough, we require more. So, I do the stupid thing and order a second round of everything as well as 12 pieces of salmon sashimi, cause that's a good idea. The second round comes and I get a little nervous. This is a lot more food than I realized. However, this restaurant will charge for uneaten food, so I do my best to scarf down the additional sushi, becoming more and more aware that, a competitive eater, I am not. Each roll is a stone rolling down into my already overwhelmed stomach. I peel the salmon off the last 4 rolls and hope that the leftover rice won't count as uneaten food. The server clears the table and I drag myself from the booth and waddle painfully towards the till. How was everything? Oh, just fine until I realized I left my self-control at home. I drive home, feeling like a balloon about to pop. As I park and exit my car, I try to burp and throw up a tiny bit onto the sidewalk. That's not a good sign. I'm sweating, I can't sit down, my stomach is throbbing from overcapacity. I feel like I need to burp, so I crack a can of soda water and chug it through a straw. For a moment, everything is so much worse, but I can feel it building to something. The pressure is too much, something has to give. I dive for the toilet. When it's all over, my dinner is flushed away along with a bit of my self-respect, and my throat feels like I just made it through a horror movie as the final girl. I can't tell my family, as this will put their faith in my ability to take care of myself even further into doubt. So, you lovely people may share in my shame. And in case you were wondering, no, it was not as good on the way back up. TLDR, my eyes were much bigger than my stomach and I ended up throwing up over 60 pieces of sushi. Edit, oh no. Why is my first post to explode, the one about me throwing up sushi? Lol. Thank you kind internet strangers for all your comments and upvotes. I've had quite a few people mention they like my writing and think I should do it professionally. Well, I actually have 2 books on the market available on Amazon if anyone is interested in dragons and fantasy. The first one is The Banished World. Edit 2, apparently someone hunted down my Facebook and shared a link, which is fine, except they then proceeded to get high and injure themselves, so please take care of yourselves. I'll also add a few links here for the curiosity but lazy. This is my Facebook page for my book series, and this is the link to purchase the first book. Tifu, by not telling my daughter Freddie Mercury was dead as obligatory. This happened in 2018. I was reminded of it yesterday, which was the 30th anniversary of Freddie Mercury's death. We listened to a lot of music with the kids, Queen being the top of the list because the songs are fun to sing to. When Bohemian Rhapsody was at the theater, the older kids, 17 and 16, went with their friends to see it. This left the youngest, 12, out, so I took her myself on a later showing the same day. She is vibrating with happiness to see the story of a band she likes, and is singing her favorite Queen songs on the way there. Bicycle race, waiting in line at concessions for popcorn. No one else is at this theater, so flash to really belt out the chorus to hear the echo. Us both trying to remember the correct order to Bohemian Rhapsody while we sit in our seats waiting for the movie to start. It's that beautifully wholesome kid excitement. The movie starts, we stop singing and settle in. She is enthralled with the ups and downs of the band members. When Freddie is on screen, she is nodding or shaking her head at his decisions. Then we are at the part of the film where he announces he is sick. I hear her sob. On the drive to the theater, I had explained this was actors playing the roles and that it was going to cover some difficult topics, but it is at this moment I realize my Tifu. While we listen to the music, we do not often talk about the artists' personal lives or their current positions on the mortal coil. As the movie ends, it's confirmed how badly this is going when she whispers, "Wait, he's dead?" and starts sobbing. It is one of her favorite stories to tell people when someone brings up a horrible thing their parents did to them. TL, Doctor, I assumed everyone knew Freddie Mercury had died. My daughter, who did not know this fact, found out when we watched Bohemian Rhapsody together at a theater.